Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's Durf from S'mores, and today I'm going to be bringing you my thoughts on SummerSlam. It just ended like a couple minutes ago, and I'm pretty disappointed in the pay-per-view. It's supposed to be the second largest pay-per-view from WWE besides WrestleMania, and probably the coolest thing from the entire pay-per-view was either Dolph Ziggler winning the title or the fact that SummerSlam is going to be in New Jersey/New York next year. So the kickoff show, well, it started with Hulk Hogan coming out and giving a whole spiel about whatever he has to do. He didn't screw up the name of the place this time, so that was pretty cool. And then the first match started. Now, it was Rob Van Dam versus Cesaro, and Cesaro's gotten pretty buried over the past couple of months from having Paul Heyman at his side and winning the Andre the Giant Royal Rumble, or Battle Royal, my fault, and then going on a losing streak to people who, shouldn't be winning or getting a push at all. I mean, Rob Van Dam's pretty cool, but his contract states that he has to leave. After this, he can leave whenever he wants, and he's actually leaving right after, he's probably not going to be there on Raw. He's, leaving. So it was kind of a waste to have this match, and RVD ended up winning, but it was pretty boring, to be honest with you. It was just Rob Van Dam jumping off the top rope a bunch of times and Cesaro hitting him with an uppercut until Rob Van Dam finally delivered a kick and then got the 5-star splash in and won. So then the next match was for the Intercontinental Championship, and we had The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler, and I was actually pretty surprised with the outcome of this match. It was going back and forth, and Ziggler was just selling everything like a champ, like he usually does, and the crowd was loving it. But the weird thing, before it finished, Ziggler went for the Famouser, and The Miz countered it, which looked ridiculous. It just looked like The Miz didn't sell it at all. And then The Miz ended up hitting the skull-crushing finale. He got the 2 count, but then Ziggler ducked under a big boot and then hit him with the zigzag for the win, and that was pretty cool. It was a big celebration, and I was actually happy for him because he's finally getting a push. But I think The Miz will have it back again in no time unless Vince McMahon got tired of his gimmick already. And then the next match was another title match for the Divas title between Paige and AJ Lee, which I actually do like this feud that's going on, so it was pretty cool to see it. I didn't know who I wanted to win. Probably AJ Lee, because, I don't know, she just got back, and she actually can carry the Divas title if you want, but I think that these two are going to go back and forth after a while. And it actually ended up with Paige hit. It was actually a really, really, really good, counter. AJ put on the Black Widow, and Paige drops it into a DDT for the win out of nowhere, which was really, really cool. And then after the match, Paige hugged AJ and said that they were still friends and everything, which is, I don't know what that's about. It looked like they hated each other in the ring, but we'll see on Raw tomorrow. Then we had the flag match between Rusev and Jack Swagger. Now this one I was actually looking forward to because I finally wanted to see Rusev lose. Now before the match started, Rusev attacks Jack Swagger right after Lana does her whole Putin spiel again that no one cares about. So after she did that, Swagger comes out with Zeb and starts waving the American flag, and then Rusev goes after him. But Swagger counters it and puts him in the ankle lock, and Lana starts screaming because the bell hasn't rung yet, and then she calls him a cheater, and so Rusev's ankles hurt the entire match. Now Swagger actually started kicking a lot of ass throughout the match and actually had Rusev coming off his feet a lot, but for some reason, Rusev goes to put in the accolade, but he can't because his ankle hurts. Yet, right after that, Swagger puts him in another ankle lock for longer than he did beforehand, drags him across the ring, is really putting it on him. Rusev's crying at this point, but then Rusev turns it into another accolade, but this time he's doing it perfectly fine, without any pain at all. It was ridiculous how he could do that, and so he wins, but Swagger didn't tap out. He actually passed out, so that's probably going to be a gimmick to spur another match after this. And then, of course, afterwards, they had to raise the Russian flag, and Rusev kicks over Zeb. It was just another BS match with Rusev in it. I don't really like him at all. I just can't wait for him to lose. Then we had the lumberjack match between Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. This was a waste of both of their talents. Because first of all, Dean Ambrose is a crazy motherfucker, and he probably could have chose a different match than this. Probably an Extreme Rules match or something like that. But no, they had to go for a lumberjack match, where something bad is going to happen to interfere with the match, of course. So they end up getting out of the ring, and the Lumberjacks actually don't do anything. They're trying to, but they just can't for some reason. Corporate Kane comes running down. Ambrose and Rollins are in the crowd fighting, and before anything can happen, Kane sends the Lumberjacks to go get them, brings them back into the ring. One of the cool things was Ambrose jumping off the top rope on top of Rollins while he was getting like crowd surfed by all the Lumberjacks. Then after that, Kane tries to interfere, and then Goldust comes in and gets in his face, and then a huge brawl breaks out into the ring with all the Lumberjacks. Then it comes down to Ambrose and Rollins or whatever, and then Rollins hits him over the head with the briefcase, and Rollins wins, and that's extremely original. So Seth Rollins wins, of course. And then we have the Chris Jericho Bray Wyatt match. It was pretty good. It was kind of slow. The coolest part were the entrances, of course, with all the phones and all that with the blackout. But Jericho looked pretty slow throughout the entire thing. Wyatt looks like he's gotten a little slow too, so he's going to have to fix that. And it's just, it wasn't that good. Wyatt won with the sister Abigail, of course, and it was just, Bray pretty much dominated that entire thing, it seemed to me. So Bray Wyatt was the winner of that one. He sung "The Whole World Is in His Hands" afterward, and then no one sang along. So that's kind of weird, because people seemed pretty hyped for him the entire match. People were against Jericho. And then we have the Brie Bella versus Stephanie McMahon match. Now, I thought that this was going to be a better match because the hype seemed better. And then Stephanie comes out with her hair curled, looking like she did back in the Attitude Era. Had some, like, S&M outfit on, which I thought was pretty cool because WWE's trying to bring back stuff from the Attitude Era. Despite the fact that their new logo is now, like, they got rid of the old Scratch logo and it's the new network logo. So, this match was extremely slow. Nothing was happening. The crowd wasn't loving it. Stephanie tried to get into it by doing the yes chant. Then Triple H comes out to interfere, of course, pulls the ref out. Nikki looks at her. Nikki gets in the ring, and it's Nikki and Brie staring at Stephanie after Brie drop-kicked Triple H, which was actually pretty cool. But then they're standing there, Stephanie ducks, and Nikki goes after Brie. And so Nikki turned on Brie, which everyone I actually heard was expecting that, so that wasn't a big one. And then Triple H had another excuse to kiss his wife on TV. Then we had the Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns fight, which I was not hyped for at all. I did not care because I've seen it before. It's been the main event on Raw, maybe not even the main event on Raw, and it's the same outcome every single time. And just like that, it was the same outcome in this pay-per-view. Roman Reigns ends up winning with a spear. And there was a really good couple counters in here, like what happened? Reigns was coming off the ropes and went for a Superman punch, and Randy Orton caught him with an RKO, which is really cool. Then the exact same thing happened later on in the match, and Reigns ends up, instead of jumping for the Superman punch, spears Randy Orton. That was, it was a pretty good match. Now, at this point, everyone's getting hyped for the World Heavyweight title match between Brock and John Cena, because everyone thought that this was going to be the big match. It had a big build-up. People were like, oh, we haven't seen a main event like this in a long time. And it just ended up being Brock Lesnar beating the crap out of Cena. Cena got a couple punches in, a couple shoulder blocks in, got one AA in, but even like 30 seconds into the match, Brock had already F5'd him. The entire match was Brock looking at Cena, trying to egg him on while he was sweating bullets, which was disgusting. And then Cena can't do anything. Brock just hits him with German suplexes over and over and over. That was the entire match. I can spoil the entire match for you right now by just saying it was a bunch of German suplexes. It really wasn't that good. And then Brock, of course, dominated and walks out. People might have liked it because they got to see Cena get his ass kicked. But in all, Lesnar hit 16 suplexes on Cena. Just ridiculous. And so now, I'm sure that tomorrow night on Raw, Brock is going to get the brand new design WWE Championship belt with the new logo on it, and that'll be it. I didn't think it was that good of a pay-per-view, maybe average or pretty good. I just didn't think it lived up to the hype. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. Be sure that if you like this, to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I hope you have a good one.